What's up, everybody? It's Roger, Working Man Cigars, and today I'm gonna be going over my top cigars of the year for 2024. I feel like I don't feel like this video is gonna be very good because I already shot this video, and I feel like I blew my wad on that first video, and I was like really excited about it, and then when I was editing it, half the audio was gone. So now I just hate having to reshoot stuff because I feel like I don't know, man. Maybe it sounds dumb, but anyways, all right. So first I want to just clarify that a lot of these cigars I didn't do a review on. These are just cigars that I smoked throughout the year. I also didn't smoke some of these more than once. Like that's the thing, right? There's a lot of really good videos out there. Really good reviewers who do great videos, who are very thorough, who like have certain restrictions on what cigars they can add. It's like it's got to be a new release, it's got to be this one, it's got to be a cigar that they shot a video of, they've had to have smoked it more than once, and it's like, dang, dude, like that's cool. Mine obviously are not like that, so I want to make it clear that this is from memory of experience, from a lot of these just once, just smoking them once, and something made it stick in my mind where I was thinking, that's a great cigar. I really enjoyed that cigar, or I'm excited about that cigar. So I have had cigars before that I smoked once that were great, and then when I revisited them, I'm like, damn, like this isn't as good, or damn, why did I like this cigar so much? And that happens too, right? That happens anytime with cigars, just because they're a lot of them can be pretty inconsistent. And a lot of how much you enjoy a cigar is the experience and kind of, you know, I don't know. So my list is more of, this is just like a quick way of be like, this is what I remember that was really good over the last year. Doesn't mean you're going to like it. Doesn't mean it's worth for you guys to go buy and try. It's just what I smoked that I remember from the last year. And these are in no particular order, okay? I am going to have like what I believe the most memorable ones towards the end of the video. But that may also be just because it's the ones that I smoked the most recently, and that's what's kind of staying in my mind as far as like, this one was really good. It might just be because I smoked them most recently. All right, and I also have a weird number of them. I think it's like 14 or 13. It's not. I tried to do 10, and then I'm like, let me do 20, and let me do 15, and it's like, it ended up being a weird number. So, okay, so last year, one of the cigars that I really remember enjoying, and I actually did a review on this one, was the Opus X BBMF. That one, it didn't blow my mind. I remember feeling like a little bit underwhelmed after smoking it. But then I remember smoking the natural BBMF and thinking, okay, that Maduro was freaking great. And that cigar, a lot of things, I'm going to be going over this a lot because I already did this video, and I know this, I kept touching on this point, but for me, I'm not experienced enough to be like, damn, that cigar had this much flavor notes, and it was the nuances and the complexity, and I don't really get that yet. I just remember certain cigars that were great, and sometimes it may not even be the cigar, right? It may just have been the situation, the date. So that could have been it, because I smoked that natural BBMF really quickly after the Maduro, like a few days after. And I think that's what made me kind of remember the BBMF as being a really good cigar. But I think even for my video, I remember really enjoying that cigar. So that's one. And it's a fucking cool cigar too. So that's the first one. Opus X BBMF Maduro. The next one is going to be the Dumbarton. And I don't have all these cigars, so I can't really show them all to you. Some of these I have, but it's like, I don't just want to show the ones I have and then not the other. So this year I'll just probably input pictures of the cigars. But most of these cigars, I mean, they're pretty well known, so people should know what they are. But the second cigar that comes to mind is the Dumbarton Barba and Maria. That cigar was gifted to me by 1T Matt, Sober Cigars. Freaking great cigar. That was such a good cigar. I had heard a lot of good things about that cigar. A lot of people say it's great. A lot of people said it was really good. But it was a fairly, I don't want to say unknown cigar, because the Dumbarton heads knew about it. They talked about it. But I mean, I had never even heard that cigar. I remember I asked Peter, because I saw a picture of the band, and it has like that snake head. And I remember I was like, what's that cigar? And he told me, oh, it's a great cigar. It's the Barbara Maria. Okay. Never heard of it, never seen it. So when one T Matt sent it to me, I had already been wanting to try it, and I smoked it, and it was a great cigar, freaking killer cigar. I really enjoyed that cigar. And I remember thinking this kind of competes with the other Dumbarton that up to date was like the best one that I had smoked last year. And I'm pretty sure I smoked this cigar last year. I've had this cigar for a while, but I'm pretty sure I only smoked it for the first time in 2024. And that was the Dumbarton Donderma Golden Child. I freaking really like the Golden Child. I think I smoked it one day. I remember I smoked that cigar one day just thinking, oh, okay, I'm going to smoke a cigar. Nothing like killer, but I do want to smoke something good. And I had been looking at that cigar off and on and kind of not wanting to smoke it because a lot of us have heard nothing but the bad about that cigar. Super spicy, like not very good, bunch of stuff, right? So, but Peter had said it was good, that it had aged very well. But even though he had said that, I would still look at it and be like, I don't really feel like having something like that right now. So it kept me away from smoking it for a while. But when I finally smoked it, I remember I DM'd Peter and I was like, this Golden Child, as of the time that I had smoked it, up to date for then, I remember I told Peter, I like the Golden Child more than the regular Donderma. And I know people are gonna be like, what the hell? No way. And it's like, okay, that was up to that point. I had already smoked like 2 Dondermas at that time. But both of them weren't under the best conditions. Both of them didn't perform very well. And I remember being really underwhelmed. I remember thinking, ice cream my ass. How do people get ice cream from this cigar? It was just harsh. I have now smoked 2 more Dondermas that were kept properly, and like I didn't smoke them in a rush, not out in public. I smoked them at home, and they were freaking great. So, but at the time, smoking the Donderma and the Golden Child was just great because I smoked that one at home. And I freaking loved that cigar. So if anybody hasn't smoked it, I've heard this year's release is still really good. I haven't had this year's release, but if it's anything like the one that I smoked before, it was a freaking great cigar. Really enjoyable. Not a lot of spice and a ton of sweetness. It was a flavor bomb of a cigar. All right, and the next cigar on the list is the Opus X Perfection X. This was a freaking killer cigar. I remember really vividly loving this cigar. We smoked it on Cigars Unbanded. We smoked it unbanded, didn't know what it was. Really enjoyed the cigar, and I love Opus. Opus is always on my end of the year list because I just like the brand, and I like anytime I smoke those cigars, to me it's like a special thing. So that's why they're also more memorable to me, I think. So I've smoked a few of the regular line Opus, and I never thought they were that great. Even the Shark, I remember thinking, this is not that good. So when I smoked that one, it was so good. It was such a great cigar that it really stuck in my head. Like, it made me look at the Opus, like the standard Opus line, a little bit differently and think like, okay, some of these can be pretty good. Because up to that point, I think I had only smoked the Shark, and I had smoked some of the smaller Vitolas, because that's like the only thing that I would see in shop is like the the Opus number 5, and I don't know, they were always the smaller ones, and I've never really had good luck with them. So when we smoked that one and we found out it was a Perfection X, it was freaking great. I was surprised, but I was really happy because I did really love that cigar. All right, this next cigar is this one's weird because I've told people about this cigar and I've told them how much I enjoyed it. And not a lot of people know which cigar this is. This was actually a cigar that was sent to me by Felipe, Cigar Side Chats. And he sent it to me last year. And I finally got to smoke it this year. And it's the Principal Strap Hanger. That freaking cigar, I kept looking at it and I'm like, okay, it has like a really funky band. And I didn't really think much of it. I thought, okay, it's going to be a Principal. It's going to be a okay Principal. I'll smoke it one day. And so whenever I smoke like what I deem a special cigar, I like to get ready for it. Like, I like to make sure the weather's right. I like to make sure I feel good. I like to make sure I'm not going to get bothered. It's like this whole thing. And sometimes I smoke, like when I think I'm going to smoke a regular cigar, I just get out and smoke them. And that cigar, I remember thinking it's just a regular cigar. I'm just going to get out there and smoke the cigar. I didn't think much of it. But when I smoked it, it was such a freaking great cigar. Such a good cigar. Very unique tasting. I had a lot of sweetness, a lot of just what I like. It was very enjoyable. And I remember thinking, I'm going to buy more of these. I'm going to buy more of these. And they're kind of hard to find. But I think it's one that's worth a try. And I definitely, I need to hurry up and find more, because I think somebody sent me a link for where they were not too long ago. And when I checked, they were sold out. So I need to find that cigar again. But that was a really good cigar. This Principal Strap Hanger. All right, next, I had mixed feelings about this cigar. This cigar I actually smoked twice this year. So this one, I was really excited about smoking it. A lot of guys that had smoked it said it was a really good cigar. So I had really high hopes, and I smoked it. And I liked it, but it wasn't that good. And that was the Opus X Dubai. Everybody that I know that smoked it loved it. So I was a little bit underwhelmed when I smoked it, but it was also super dry. I know when I'm smoking a cigar and it's really dry, because I could hear it like crackling. And even in the review when I smoked it, I mentioned that I thought it was way too dry. So I kind of attributed that to part of the problem. So then I ended up revisiting that cigar. When I smoked it again, I remember I prepped for it, I was ready. And when I smoked it, in the beginning, like the first third, it honestly lasted a while where I'm like, okay, it's very similar to the first one. It's not that good. I'm not really getting much from it. Like, it's good, but it's not, maybe I was still expecting too much. But then once I got into the second third is when it completely turned around, and it was weird, because it had that Opus kind of boldness and strength, but it was also a very like refined cigar. I don't know, it was weird, because it doesn't look like a very nice cigar. The bands are dope, but the cigar itself it looks a little bit rough. So I don't know. It was such a refined tasting cigar, and it was a really good experience. So that's another cigar that really sticks in my mind as like, it was something special to me when I smoked it. All right, and the next cigar on the list, this one is really special to me. I remember thinking, I didn't want people, when I used to watch these type of videos and people would add Cubans, I should be like, why do they add Cubans? It's not like we can get those freaking cigars. So all they're doing is enticing us to something we can't get. But at the end of the day, it's like, if I'm just going over what was the most memorable for me, and this one definitely sticks in my mind, and it has like this spot for me as like a special cigar, and that's the Romeo and Julieta White Churchill. I actually just took off the secondary band right now, but this is a freaking great cigar. I remember getting certain tasting notes from this cigar, and sometimes things don't click for me. I'm like, what is that? It's really good, but I don't know what it is. It's like semi-sweet, it's kind of zesty, it's kind of this, or... Now I remember Hound Dog and them were like, oh, it's like, it's got citrus, it's like citrusy. And when they say that, it's kind of like, it just clicks your mind. I'm like, damn, that's what it is. So this cigar is one of the first cigars that I actually really connected citrus with, and like that lemon kind of zest to a cigar, and I freaking like it. And even now, when I'm smoking it now, I'm still getting that, and I just think it's such a really good cigar. As far as these being difficult to get, they are, just because Cubans are just hard to get. You never know if you're getting real ones or fake ones. But I freaking love this cigar, and I wanted to add it. I could have done without it on my list, but like I said, such a memorable cigar to me, I don't want to leave it off the list. So, Romeo and Julieta White Churchill. Okay, next cigar on the list. This one is cool because I've smoked this one multiple times. I have gotten mixed experiences with it, but again, when you're smoking a cigar, walking around, talking to people, and then actually sitting down and going over the notes and kind of focusing on the cigar, you're always going to get different results. I've smoked this one. We actually smoked this cigar during, I think it was our first Cigars Unbanded show, our live stream. And it was this cigar, and it was a freaking killer cigar. And I fell in love with it the first time we smoked it, and I still love it now. And it's a cigar that's easy to get, right? Well, I don't know how easy it is, but it's out there, and it's not like impossible. It's not crazy expensive. It's the Plasencia Alma de Fuego TAA, the Cortez. Freaking great cigar, man. Freaking amazing cigar. And I've smoked that cigar, like I said, sitting down with the guys on Unbanded, going over the tasting notes, saying how much we like it, sharing the experience. And then I've also smoked it at my house. I've smoked it at parties. I've smoked it at PCA walking around. It's a freaking great cigar that I don't feel bad smoking, because they're usually, if you want to find them, you can find them. So I don't think they're like super limited or anything, because usually when I want to find them, I just Google them and I can find them. But definitely a great cigar. Freaking love that cigar. Okay, next cigar. This one is another cigar that I have a video out on. I actually have a video smoking 2 cigars. One of them was the Opus X Purple Rain, and I think they're both in the 888 size. And the other one was the Opus X Rare Black. I thought I was gonna like the Purple Rain because so many people talk about the Purple Rain. It was good, but the Rare Black was freaking great. I remember thinking, this Rare Black, I don't know how or why, but the person inside of me that really likes the hype in cigars was really interested in the Purple Rain, but the Rare Black was just so much more fitting for my taste. And I smoked them pretty much side by side, so I could definitely taste the difference in them. And the Rare Black was still, the flavor was still strong enough to cut through the Purple Rain. And it was a great cigar, man. I actually bought a few more of those just because I liked them so much. And they actually have that other size, the double Corona size, and I haven't had that cigar yet, but it is something that it is a cigar that I'm looking forward to trying, because I don't like the 888 size. I don't like Lanceros too much. They're usually, the smoke is harsher. It's more burnt. It always burns my tongue a little bit more. And I am a bit of a fast smoker. So the thinner ring gauge, like really thin ring gauge cigars like that don't work well for me. But that one still was just such a freaking great cigar. Enough to where I bought a few of them because I really enjoyed that cigar. All right, this next cigar, it's on my most memorable list for 2024, even though I've smoked it before. I smoked it in 2023. But my videos have no point or reason or proper format, so my videos have no rules, right? So it doesn't matter. To me, it's still a most memorable cigar that I smoked in 2024. And that's the Principal Martinique. I had smoked the cigar before last year. After everybody said how good it was, I remember I bought them from Sir Louis. As soon as they arrived, I think like 2 days later, I just lit it right up. This is before I knew that you should like acclimate cigars, make sure the RH is fine. I just remember smoking it and lighting it up when a few days after I got it. And it was such a spicy cigar. I remember not even finishing half of it. I was like, this is bitter. It tastes weird. And that must have been the high RH that was like, you know, the draw sucked. Everything points to bad RH in the cigar. But I had so much negative emotions toward that cigar that I never wanted to retry it. Until I went to the lounge and I was hanging out with Hound Dog, Keith, Sal, Marvin. We all hung out. And Keith gave me a Principal Martinique. And it was a freaking great cigar. I remember there were so many other cigars there. And there were still more Martiniques. And I'm like, do I grab a second Martinique to smoke? Because I was completely blown away with how good that cigar was. That changed my mind completely. Like the next day I bought like, I think 2 5-packs. One of the Lanceros, one of the other size. I don't even know what the size is, but the one I smoked was not the Lancero. And I've smoked the Lancero since then, and it's okay, but it doesn't compare to the regular one, which is, it's not a Toro. I forget what it is, but it's the other size. And I've smoked that cigar now, like I think 3 or 4 times, and it's been great. It's been great. Anytime I smoked it this year, it's been freaking amazing. So to me, that's a cigar that as long as I can find them, I will always buy them. I always want to keep them in my humidor because they're freaking great cigars. The Principal Martinique. All right, now this next cigar, this one, I just smoked it recently and I've only smoked one, but it was such a freaking great cigar. It was the PB97, the Padron Black 97, Maduro. We smoked this one again. This is another cigar I smoked on Cigars Unbanded. It was such a freaking great cigar. It left a really strong impression on me because I remember enjoying it so much, thinking, I got to get more of these. These are so freaking good. And I have come to realize that any cigar that I smoke on Cigars Unbanded, I need to revisit later because I always get a better experience smoking the cigar with the guys. Because like I had mentioned before, sometimes you're enjoying a cigar, you're really focusing on it, and on the show you're forced to focus on the cigar every now and then because you know you got to give like your tasty notes. And sometimes there's something on the tip of your tongue and you don't know what it is, and somebody else will bring it up and say like, oh, it's espresso, or it's apricot, or it's this, and then it just clicks, right? And it just makes it so much more fun. That's why Cigars Unbanded is so cool. You're smoking with friends, and it's a lot of people are smoking the same thing, getting the same enjoyment out of it, and it just makes a cigar so much more enjoyable. That's why so many of these cigars that I smoked here that are on my list are from Cigars Unbanded. And I've come to realize I have to smoke them later again to see if I really like them as much. But like I said, being my most memorable cigars, that's all it counts. If I have a really strong emotion towards it, a really strong memory of enjoying it, I'm going to put it on my list. And this one's on my list. The PB97 is great. All right, guys, now my battery's going to die. So the next cigar, this one is the Byron 21st. I haven't smoked the Distinguidos yet. I haven't smoked the Maduro yet. This is the Connecticut. This cigar, the Byron 21st, is such a freaking great cigar. Now, I love Atabey. I'm a big Atabey guy. But this cigar, on a few occasions when I smoked it, and I've smoked this one multiple times because I really enjoy it, I have come to like it sometimes a little bit more than an Atabey. The only difference is that an Atabey doesn't seem to die down for me, and the Byron 21st, once you get into the final third, it usually takes a pretty big dip. That's just been my experience. A lot of guys don't seem to have that problem, but I have. So that's like the only issue that I've had with that cigar. But besides that, the Byron 21st, freaking great cigar. I love that cigar. All right, and the number one cigar, or the next cigar, is going to be the Dumbarton Bronzeback. Just joking. Obviously, you guys know I don't fucking like that cigar. No, it's not that I don't like that cigar. See how I'm making shit up now just because people say it so much. I don't dislike that cigar. I just don't love that cigar. I've smoked it a total of 6 times now. 6 times. And I have 3 more. So I'm going to smoke it at least 10 times. I got to buy one more. I think the cigar is good. Like, if I smoked it, I'd be happy. If guys would be like, let's smoke a Bronzeback today, I'd be like, hell yeah, let's do it. But I don't love the cigar as much as other people do. As much as other guys tend to love that cigar, I just don't feel, I don't feel like that towards it. So, no, the cigar that sticks in my mind the most that I freaking loved, and this, again, it might just be my shitty memory, but it's the last cigar I did a video on, and that's the Davidoff Grand Cru Diademas. That cigar was gifted by Peter the Cigar Collective. A lot of these were gifted by Peter the Cigar Collective. I should have said that. What a great cigar. I freaking love that cigar. It had the best of everything I like. I'm a big, like, you can see some of the cigars that are latest in my memory are Connecticut's. Like, I like very smooth, very refined cigars. But then I also like very punchy cigars, very flavor bomb cigars. And those tend to be Maduros and stuff. But the Grand Cru Diademas, surprisingly, for me, had like the best of both worlds. It was very refined, very smooth, very elegant kind of tasting. Like, it was very good. And then it also had tons of flavor. It had a good amount of complexity. And then I also like a lot of like aged tobacco funkiness to a cigar. And that one had, not in the beginning, but towards the end, I kept getting like just aged, funky. It was a freaking great cigar. I love that cigar. I want to pick up a few more. I haven't yet, but I really need to, because that's a cigar that I could see myself smoking. Anytime I want a special cigar, I could see myself smoking that cigar because it was such a good cigar. All right, that's pretty much it, you guys. That's my list for 2024. A lot of these cigars are, I call it the most memorable, right? My most memorable cigars of the year. And that's because it's really based off memory. I don't take pictures of my cigars usually. I don't usually snap a picture when I'm going to smoke them. I don't write down what I smoke. I haven't made a lot of videos this year. So this is really just based off memory. And that's why there might be some other cigars that I smoked throughout the year that I thought were good, but they must not have been as good as these because they didn't leave a lasting impression. And some of these left a lasting impression on me, not just because of the cigar, but because of the experience. And that's the big thing that I want to take away from, that I want you guys to take away, is that to me, a cigar isn't just, this cigar is great because it tastes like this, or it has these notes and I love these notes. To me, it's the experience and how I feel when I'm going to smoke it. When I smoke a cigar like the BBMF, the first time I smoked it, I was mentally prepared for that cigar. I got ready for that cigar. I made sure it was good RH. I really was looking forward to that cigar, because if you hunt Opus, and that cigar was gifted to me by Eric Tran, Midnight Cigars. Shit, I should have said that. Okay. The BBMF Maduro, the first one I ever smoked, that one was gifted to me by Eric Tran. And I freaking appreciate him for that so much, because I love Opus and I became a huge Opus follower. And some people that don't like Opus are like, why? The Opus isn't even that good. You could smoke this other cigar for half the price or whatever. It's, to me, like I said, it's the experience. And when I get to smoke a cigar like that I've been looking for, or is deemed special, or I think is cool, I'm either going to be very underwhelmed and disappointed, or I'm going to have a great experience. And that's usually how it goes, one or the other. And that BBMF, I had been holding on to that cigar for so long because I wanted everything to be perfect when I smoked it. And I think I smoked it the best time I could, the best way I could. And I freaking enjoyed that cigar. I thought it was really cool, really good. So it left a lasting impression on me. So that's the thing. My list isn't made to be taken seriously. My list isn't recommendations or like, hey, you should base off my list, you should go buy some of these to try them. My list is not for that. My list is just telling you what were the most memorable cigars for me. And it might not have been the cigar fully. It might have been the experience. That's why, like I mentioned, a lot of the Cigars Unbanded cigars end up on this list, because doing that show, smoking along with everybody, smoking along with people in the chat who are also smoking the same cigars as us, it just makes it so much more fun, makes it more enjoyable. It just makes the experience better. And to me, maybe in the future when I get better at tasting notes and get better at, getting my palate in, like right on point, like Hound Dog, Peter, like Carpenter, they have amazing palates. Maybe then I'll be able to remember and really love a cigar strictly for that cigar. But for now, cigars that really end up making my list or become memorable for me are cigars that I get like a really good experience from. And that was all these right here. So that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you guys smoked some of these and enjoyed them just as much as I did. And I've been talking a lot about Cigars Unbanded on this show, on this episode, on this video. But if you haven't checked out Cigars Unbanded, check it out. Every Thursday, Cigars Unbanded YouTube channel. Weekly live stream that we do on Thursdays, 6:15 Pacific Standard Time. You get the packs labeled 1 through 4. We smoke them together. Everybody likes to chime in. People in the chat smoke at the same time we do. We all kind of share in the experience, try to guess what the cigar is. It's freaking fun. It makes cigars a lot funner, a lot better experience. So if you haven't seen that show, check it out. It's a great show. Check out Cigars Unbanded YouTube channel, right? All right, guys. Thank you.